Meanwhile, along with sanctions on Moscow, the United States, interestingly, is also deploying additional forces to Germany to bolster the NATO military alliance. And this is happening in the face of Russia's invasion into Ukraine. Biden has also underscored anew that the American forces are not and will not be engaged in a conflict with Russia in Ukraine. However, he also has said that every inch of the NATO alliance will be defended by the NATO forces. Bear in mind that Ukraine is not a member of the NATO military alliance. It wanted to become a part of the NATO military alliance, and that is the reason why it finds itself in the position that it is in right now. Now, the American president has said that the United States will be sending as many as about 7,000 additional troops to Germany, and the forces will rather be positioned in a defensive capacity to defend and reassure their NATO allies. He has said that the United States will meet its Article 5 commitments, in which NATO members have agreed that an armed attack against any one of them in Europe or in North America will be considered as an attack against all of them. Since Ukraine is not a member nation, those protections do not apply.
And now I'm authorizing additional U.S. force capabilities to deploy to Germany as part of NATO's response, including some of the U.S.-based forces that the Department of Defense placed on standby weeks ago. Let me say it again. Our forces are not and will not be engaged in the conflict with Russia in Ukraine. Our forces are not going to Europe to fight in Ukraine, but to defend our NATO allies and reassure those allies in the East.
Meanwhile, Biden has called it a premeditated attack. He has described the Russian President Vladimir Putin as an aggressor who has launched a war without a cause and a misguided dream of recreating the Soviet Union. Biden has also said that there is now a complete rupture in the US-Russia relationship if Moscow still continues on the path that it is presently on. He has also ruled out the possibility of holding talks with Vladimir Putin. Biden has said that the Russian leader has grander ambitions than Ukraine.
He has much larger ambitions in Ukraine. He wants to, in fact, reestablish the former Soviet Union. That's what this is about. And I think that his ambitions are completely contrary to the place where the rest of the world has arrived. It's a large conflict already. The way we're going to ensure it's not going to aspire to a larger conflict is by providing all the forces needed in the Eastern European nations that are members of NATO. NATO is more united than it's ever been, and I have no plans to talk with Putin.
Now, Joe Biden has said that NATO will be meeting on Friday to map out further measures. Biden was asked if the stance was in sync with major defense partner India, to which Biden said that the United States is in consultations with India and the talks haven't been resolved completely. The U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken also spoke with India's Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar, and Blinken has urged for a strong collective response to condemn Russia's invasion into Ukraine. The 15-member United Nations Security Council, of which India is a member, is likely to vote on Friday on a draft resolution. The resolution will condemn Russia for invading Ukraine and will require Moscow to immediately and unconditionally withdraw. Russia is, of course, expected to veto this particular step, but Washington sees the vote as some kind of a chance to try and isolate Moscow at the UNSC. It is seeking at least about 13 votes in favor of this draft resolution that it wants to put forth. It expects an abstention by Russia's partner China and a veto by the Russians. Now remember, India's position is that of a delicate balance. India has developed close ties with Washington in recent years, but it has long-standing and traditional close relationship with Moscow. India has so far avoided condemning the Russian invasion into Ukraine, although the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has reportedly spoken with the Russian President Vladimir Putin in a phone call and has called for an immediate cessation of hostilities in his phone call with Russian President Vladimir Putin. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.